Shalom everyone, I wanted to relate over some words with regards to Adam Nathan, Avraham Ben Beracha, who sadly passed away just over 5 weeks ago from recording this video, very suddenly at such a young age, and so many good things that just everyone could say about him. And I knew him personally for about 20 years through a mutual friend who also unfortunately passed away many years back in a car accident. And straight away, the first thing I could relate over about Adam is he was a person there's people out there you can speak to for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. But Adam was a person where you could speak to for days. It's non-stop. You could have a conversation that doesn't end. I remember, I think the first time I spoke to him, it was nearly about a couple of hours. The conversation was when I was learning in university, and he came to stay, I believe, for a Shabbat or something. And so many good things were said, related about him during the Shiva and during the funeral. For example, the rabbi related over inside the funeral, he spoke for a few minutes and related over that everything that Adam did was b'derech tzniut. Everything he did in his life. There were so many acts of kindness he did throughout the year, which only he knew about. He did, and didn't reveal it to anyone. He was not, with Adam, you got what you saw. He was not looking for attention, not looking for popularity, not looking for, to be the star of the show. He wants to do things, he didn't need to publicize anything that he was doing, and did so many acts of kindness. And even like the people closest to him, it seems they didn't even know what he was doing. The great acts of kindness he was done. And that's very much embodies what he really was. And the rabbi was saying it over inside the funeral, that the whole time he was doing things that so many acts of kindness which people wouldn't normally do, go out their way to do. And he was doing all those things without people knowing about it. Also, he was a person that was, as I said before, not necessarily they want to publicize anything. He was someone you could speak to about anything. Loyalty was the main theme when it came to Adam, especially when a mutual friend passed away 16, 17 years ago. He was like a rock to the family of Ben, who sadly passed away. And the act of chesed he did the whole time. I remember in the Shloshim, when our mutual friend passed away all those years ago, he was the one that organized Mishnayot. He was the one that organized everyone together to learn Torah on that day, the speeches that were coming about. And we related over that Avraham was religious. He went on a big religious journey for many, many years, and eventually ended up making Aliyah to Israel, which is not necessarily a straightforward thing to do. And made Aliyah to Israel, and then got married just over 10 years ago, back in September 2012. And many, many acts of kindness he did was done beseter, as they say in Hebrew, was done in secret. For example, someone related over in the Shiva, a very good friend of his, that Adam used to daven for, I don't know how much of a long period it was, but was davening in a Beit Knesset called Zechut Avot in Bet Shemesh, a city in Israel called Bet Shemesh. In the morning, he'd daven Netz HaChamat Tefillah, which is very, very early morning, not easy to do, but he was very much doing this every day. And he learned with a chavruta straight afterwards for a period of time. Every single day was doing it, but didn't publicize it. And many of the things he did it wasn't about publicity. It was about doing what's right. He was very much a man of principles, but not a man of arrogance at the same time. He stuck to his principles, from what I hear, and what I could see also. But at the same time, did it in a courteous way. He did it in a nice way. It wasn't like, as in like, just because I believe in this thing doesn't mean the other person's wrong. He was very much a person that he would do something, but he would see value in what everyone else also says. And many people were relating over so many of the great acts he was doing all throughout his period. And for example, even before he had, I believe, started learning and became much more towards a very religious spectrum, even then he was always had a passion, Ahavat Yisrael, for all the fellow Jewish people, for all of Israel. He loved Israel, hence making Aliyah. And one of the things which one of the friends was relating over in the funeral, was that he would advocate for Israel a lot, especially during the university time period. We're talking more than 17, 18 years ago. He would go out to the streets in central London and advocate for Israel. There'll be like a pro-Israel rallies. They're giving out leaflets, all those things. The Ahavat Yisrael, the love for Israel, was second to none. To go in those cold winter days on a weekly basis and defend Israel, especially when there's so much anti-Semitism out there. There was 20 years ago and there still is now. But he was going out in the street and advocating for Israel, giving leaflets out, promoting Israel, like let's just say, like speaking against all the people that called motions against Israel. And this is one of the most important things, especially people from Chutz La'aretz can do, to advocate for Israel. It's not just about watching the TV and everything else, it's about getting out there. And he very much had a love for Israel even before he made Aliyah. And before he went on yeshiva journey also. And he spent time learning also in yeshiva, as we've related over. Even one of the friends was saying over in the funeral that the person Adam was, as it related before, could speak to him for so long. The guy was speaking to him for 6 hours at a time period. There was another friend recently made Aliyah only about half a year ago or something, and was able to spend 6 hours with him non-stop and speak to him, relate over like non-stop. So many great things Adam did, and it was what you saw, you got with Adam. He was very much a down-to-earth person. He wasn't looking for center stage at any time. He was just a guy that was, everything was b'derech tzniut within regards to him. And as I said before, he's very, very loyal to anyone that was close to him. He had a circle of friends, a very good circle of friends, but at the same time, very strong friendships. If one friend of his, the circle of friends, by the way, I've got to add, are like very, very good people. He always was among very good company the whole time. And if something would happen to one of them, he was very loyal straight away. He would make sure that that person was cared for in whatever it might be, whether it was physically or in a spiritual sense. And as I said before, the Ahavat Yisrael he had, I believe, was second to none. I was inside the Shiva only was just over a month ago, and when I came to his house, you could see all over the wall, which is very rare I see in anywhere you go to anyone's house. He had the picture of an Israeli soldier next to an ultra-Orthodox Jew with a black hat, with arms next to each other in a friendship. That was very much embodied Adam's vision, especially his Ahavat Yisrael was, it reached out to all the different kinds of Jews, whatever they were, whatever domination they were. He saw the goodness in all the different people. It wasn't as in like, he didn't have to wear a black hat to impress the people that were, let's say, in the ultra-Orthodox community, and he didn't need to impress the other people in, let's say, the less ultra-Orthodox community. It was what you got. He looked at the neshama of a person. He looked at he was very much an earthly person. He was very much a spiritual person, and he saw the value in who the person is. It's not the way they dress or not necessarily the status that the person has. It's the soul of the person himself, which is one of the most important things within regards to the midot, the characteristic of a person. And in his house, the whole of his house, you could see especially the passion and the love he had for, especially one of his friends was relating over in the funeral, he had such a love for the Sephardi culture and the heritage of it. He had the pictures of the different great Rabbanim on the wall, of the Abi Yaakov and the Rav Ovadia Yosef and the Baba Sali and many of the great Rabbanim. Also, he had the most tremendous amount of respect for them. But the whole theme of everyone I spoke to, it was just a loyalty and the care he had for everyone. And they're not publicizing things, to do the acts of kindness. Sometimes there's a nitty-gritty work to do to help the other people, which no one wants to do. And he was always there. I remember when I got engaged, we're talking back in June 2010. I had I did a party in the yeshiva. I did a party in England and also in Israel. And at the time, I think it was a time when Avraham Ben Beracha had made Aliyah, and I believe. And he came that night. It was a party where a lot of people came to. And then towards it finished quite quickly. There was another friend that was doing a leaving party. He was moving back to England after a period in yeshiva. And it became quite quiet after an hour. But however, Adam was there that night. And he stayed on till the end. He was there till the end and he wanted to do photos afterwards and take a picture. And he stayed on right till the end. And I was flying to England very, very early the next morning. And he was pretty much there till the late hours, making sure I was okay. He was a massive presence that night, which I will never forget. And the care he had when it came to the detail of something, he was detailed with it. It wasn't like, as in like, For example, I remember on his wedding, when he invited me, he made sure that there was a seat. He followed up a few times, making sure I was there, and straight away felt everyone, made sure everyone was good at that time period. And so many stories were related over him. If it wasn't learning a lot of the time, he was listening to spiritual conversations. He was communicating with people. He was there to be in contact with everyone. He was like a person that he was the kind of person that everyone that you need to share something with, even a secret, he'd be the one that would potentially take it on himself. He was that's infinite loyalty he had to his close nucleus of friends and to everyone, and did so many great acts. He leaves, unfortunately, he leaves so sadly, passed away. He leaves a wife and 3 young children, and very, very, very sad news. And I feel for all of them. It's we're all absolutely devastated. Everyone that knew Adam, and especially everyone living in the city of Bet Shemesh, and the people in Israel that heard about the news. It was really, really upsetting for everyone, and also for all the close friends. How devastated we all were just when we heard the news. And I remember I didn't see him for a couple of years, because during the coronavirus and all of that, people weren't out and about as much. But I saw him. Fortunately for me, I saw him the day before he passed away. I got to see him one last time. Everything seemed okay. Apparently, he was on. I saw him randomly on a bus. It was the most random place, and he was, even on his last day, he was out to do acts of kindness. From what I heard, that's why what his trips had always involved, wherever he was going. It was the whole time he was caring about other people. Nothing was about Avraham Ben Beracha, about Adam in his own mind. It was how he can help someone else. What is the friend missing? What do they need? What extra thing, which help do they need? And that's sometimes the greatest form of kindness someone can give to someone else. And the Rabbanim actually say themselves, the greatest kindness one can do, when you do a mitzvah that is done in public with everyone knowing, and there's a whole fanfare about it, it can't be compared when someone does a mitzvah and they do it in quiet. No one needs to know about it. They don't need to get any taps on the back. That's the greatest form of chesed one can do, and the greatest value of a mitzvah that someone can do. And it's just so sad what we've heard. All these years he's been doing it. And remember, to come from England to Israel, and then come to the Shiva, and to get married, build a family, learn how to take other languages on. It's a difficult thing, but it's something he very much achieved in flying colors. But unfortunately, it was such a short life. It's so upsetting that he's not here anymore, and especially for his wife and the kids and everyone close to him. And he was like a rock to everybody. He was like he had this figure, this angelic figure to so many different people, and we're also devastated. And so many stories could be. Hopefully, we can hear from other people also all the great stories about him. Amazing Neshama be protecting all of us. He's advocate for all of us, and hopefully he's in a good place now. But we're all really devastated about this news. And Be'ez Hashem Besorah Tovot and Aruchat Yamim to everybody that knew him, and may his neshama be in a very good place for everyone. Okay.